Hi, today I'm gonna show you how to knit this double side knitting hat. Let's get started. Okay, first of all, please check my description box for all the detail you might need. Today, I am going to show you how to knit this double-sided reversible hat in round. Have you ever heard the term tubular cast on? This double side knitting usually start with tubular cast on, but I've heard a lot of people struggle making tubular cast on. And this technique makes the edge nice and smooth like this. However, I didn't use tubular cast on technique because the people who's not successful for this tubular cast on, this is my opinion. I think they did right with the cast on. However, sometimes I notice it's a little bit harder to knit first row with the tubular cast on. But people probably think, oh, maybe I did something wrong. That's why it's not good to start, right? So this time, I'm not using that technique, but you still can knit double side. And for the future, you should actually learn how to do tubular cast on because if you want to do the double side knitting. All right, but today I'm gonna show you the easiest way to start double side knitting. All right, so let's move on to my gauge. My normal gauge, which is 4-inch, is 16 stitches. However, this yarn I was using is quite stretchy. Also, I use 6.5 millimeter thick needle, right? So I stretch my swatch out like that, then count. Because with my, normal gauge, my cast on number was 80 cast on. However, that's quite big. So I stretched the swatch out, and now my gauge is 12 stitches, within 4-inch. And still, this is loose because I didn't use the rib knitting. It's all knit stitch. Maybe that's what it is. So when you actually do the math, you really have to be careful. Okay, so my math is like this. My head measurement is 21-inch this time. I make it smaller. So 4-inch versus 21-inch equal 12 stitch, which is my gauge, versus X stitch, which is my cast on. X equal 21 times 12 divided by 4. X equal 23. And cast on number can be your choice, but you should pick the number you can divide easily for your, decreasing part for your top of your head. Um, you can read that, information a little bit there, but I recommend you to pick the number multiple of 10. So that'll be easier later on. Okay, cast on. My math says my cast on should be 63. However, I picked 60 because, again, later I need to use easy number to divide for my decreasing. So 60 or your choice. You make cast with contrast color scrap yarn. This is important for this, tutorial. Okay, so I made 60 cast on with scrap yarn. So I cut the tail and I tied the knot for just in case. You don't have to, but you can. And you know which one is the right side and which one is wrong side. Well, I mean, knitting side. This is purl side. So I want to start with knitting side. So I push the project towards to the other side. So I can start on knitting side. Then now, knitting start. Row number 1, knit with second color of yarn. It doesn't really matter, the first or second color, but this second color means this will be the purl yarn later. I will talk about it. So anyway, never mind what I just said. Knit with second color of yarn until the end. It's not connecting yet, just a knit flat. Can you see the back of the project? There's a little stitch in between scrap yarn. That's the stitch I will need later. Anyway, here comes. This is end of the row number 1. Just knit straight with second color of yarn. There we go. I knitted it, but this color will be my purl side color. I'll tell you later. And now I am going to connect both ends, knitting in round and still knitting. So I'm going to use the magic loop technique because I'm using the longer cable. If you have the perfect length for the cable, you don't have to do the magic loop. So put the begin marker in, connect both ends, and make sure you're writing knitting right side. So obviously it's knit. And row number 3 and row number 4 all knit. So please knit 4 rows with same color. Again, 4 rows total. There we go. I just did. I'm finishing. And now I'm using pink, first color. And I knit 4 rows total with pink color. Obviously, you don't have to change the color if you don't want. But this is reversible, so, why not, using the 2 different color. So you can, enjoy 2 different color of hat, right? Anyway, 4 rows with blue yarn and 4 rows with pink yarn. There we go. So this is end of my row 8. You can actually do the 2 rows each, total of 4, but 8 row, that's actually good number. It's easier. Anyway, now I grab the blue yarn again, and now I am going to use 2 different color. So let's look. Front piece, knitting side. Back piece, obviously purl side. And at the end of the stitch, it's blue. And that's a purl stitch in between gray yarn, right? Those stitches, I am going to pick it up. Just like, double rib. And you have to be very careful. This one looks like first, but outside of the scrap yarn, that's the first stitch. And if you're not sure which one is first, you have to count backwards and then make sure which one is the first stitch to pick up. All right? This is probably most important part because you don't want to pick, wrong stitch. So pick up the first stitch with cable needle or whatever, the easiest way. So pick up last stitch with blue. So I am going to make a purl with blue yarn because it's blue. So make sure the pink working yarn come out front. The working yarn has to move same time, same way, even though you're not using, that working yarn. And there we go. Make a purl with blue. Now, both working yarn go behind. Then knit pink stitch with pink working yarn. This is pretty much the way you do double side knitting. Okay, so now I have to pick the stitch from the bottom. Make sure which one. At the very first, it's really hard, but just take your time. Pick up. So blue means purl, right? So both working yarn come out front. And then purl. Because you just pick up the stitch purl side, right? And then yarn back, then knit pink one with pink yarn. So it's gonna be blue, pink, until the end. So you know where the start with begin is, right? So let's do that again. So that's I just picked. So next one. Yarn front and then purl. Yarn back and then knit with pink working yarn. Pretty much this is it. And I'll show you how I knit with the, double side knitting later. But this connecting part, just make sure, take your time and, do the right way. Okay. There you go. It's pretty much done. Few more stitches left. So we have to finish that. Okay, I don't need the cable needle anymore. So just pick up the straight bottom stitch, then both working yarn front because this is pearl with blue. There you go. And yarn back and knit with pink. Again, this is the technique for double knitting. And now your stitch count is double up, right? Because you're picking up 60 for me times 2 is 120. However, the cast on number should be 60, your head size. All right? Don't divide it in half or anything. You start with your head measurement and write cast on number because the pink one is front and blue one is inside, outside and inside. So, I shouldn't start with 30 cast on. There you go. If it's tough, use the, cable needle or crochet hook or whatever to pick up that, bottom stitch. There we go. And I believe there's one more because I started with blue yarn, right? So there you go. Until there, I have to do it. This is the last stitch. And now I have two different stitch on the needle. I'll show you. There you go. The front, pink. Outside, pink, and inside, blue. And there's the scrap yarn cast. Now you can take that yarn off because we don't need it anymore. If you think this is kind of, pain in the neck, please go ahead use the tubular cast on. It's a good technique to know. And there's lots of video for tubular cast on. But if you struggle with that technique, use this technique. After this, you just keep knitting until decrease starts. And in next clip, I'll show you how I knit. It's a little bit different. Okay, outside pink yarn, grab working yarn with right side and blue pearl inside, grab with left hand like that. So now pink stitch, so both working yarn at the back and just knit with pink. And now front and blue yarn has to be front and then make a pearl. And can you actually look at the blue stitch? It's twisted because I like the way I make pearl with continental way. I'm not the continental knitter, so it's really hard for me to do regular way. Regular way is just straight in and grab the working yarn, right? So the working yarn, okay, I usually grab from top down like that makes stitch twisted. But that's okay, as long as, it's easier for me. So you do your way. If you're using continental, way, you just, put the needle straight in and then grab from down to top like that. There you go. See, I'm not good at it. For me, it's easy, coming from back loop and then grab the working yarn from top to down and makes the stitch twisted, but that's okay because I'm gonna twist that, stitch later on anyway. And you again don't even know what I'm talking about, but you will understand later. Okay, so this is what I knit purl from back and grab the working yarn top down. I just want you to make sure the working yarn position. Anyway, just knit until your desired length, however you like. And now I just want to tell you how to change the color. I'm not going to do it because I like the natural design with this yarn. But if you're using too solid color and you want to add maybe stripes, something like that, it's easy. Just change. So now I have a pink yarn on my right hand and blue yarn on left hand. And whenever it comes, the begin marker, just switch. And first row, it's a little bit confusing, but easy. Okay? Now purl with pink yarn. There you go. And then knit with blue yarn, which means blue yarn stitch will be outside and pink yarn stitch go inside. That's about it. And you just, do the few rows at a time, make it stripe, and then, the switch again, stuff like that. So that's how you actually make a design for double knitting. If you want to try, you can do that. There's lots of video. Anyway, just keep knitting after. I knitted it about 8" from the bottom. Let's talk about decreasing. And it says make a plan really well. Well, I should actually make a plan at the very beginning because how to decrease is make the whole hat length different. Anyway, let's talk about decreasing rule. First of all, count stitches as set of 2 or count individually. Set of 2, which means set of blue and pink. That's the set. That doesn't mean I am going to decrease those 2 stitch mixed up. No, I am going to decrease blue side and pink side, each side. I am going to decrease every other row, which means stitch count times 2 is the how many rows you knit to finish for this decreasing thing. All right, so I probably count as individual. Maybe that'll be easier for you. Now I have 20 individual stitches in between two markers. Another word, I have 10 sets of both blue and pink. Well, you can count however you like, but make sure you understand what I'm talking about. Anyway, now I have 10 pink and 10 blue stitches in between markers. I divided by 6. In other words, to get rid of the 10 stitches every other rows, which means I need to knit 20 rows from now. That's gonna be a little too much. Can you see the orange marker? That's the 20 rows line. So if I wanna, knit long hat and, make a, fold at the end like that, should be okay. But, this is quite thick hat, and I'm not tend to fold at the end of the hat. So the 20 rows from now is too long. So I decide I am going to divide by 10. So, which means I have to add markers every 6 sets of blue and pink, or every 12 individual stitches. All right. Well, I have to get rid of the 6 stitch pink or blue and blue, right? Which means 6 times 2, because every other row I have to, decrease, which means I am going to knit 12 rows to finish. That's how you think. This is the reason why I told you at the very beginning, you need to pick, the cast on number, kind of, easy number to divide for decreasing. That's the reason why I said that. So now I am going to decrease stitches before the marker. But this is the begin marker, so I'm not decreasing around the begin marker yet. Okay, so just knit, okay, until last 4 individual stitches. So blue, pink, blue, pink. So 2 sets of the blue, pink combination, right? So make sure about it. Just knit until last 4 individual stitch. Another word, last 2 sets of blue and pink combination. And I just do the knit two together for knit side and purl two together for purl side. That's it. Okay, so just keep knitting until 4 individual stitch. And I have to actually show you 2 different way, because my purl stitch is already twisted. So this is a little bit, different. Okay. If this is not twisted, you have to actually twist first. So I'll show you 2 different way to do. So don't worry about it. So knit one more. There we go. Now 2 blue and 2 pink, and blue purl stitch is already twisted because the way I make purl, right? So I am not going to twist, just slide purlwise 3 stitch. So one left on the left needle and grab pink stitch like that and drop, carefully drop blue stitch. Okay, and then pick up the blue stitch right away and put those blue stitch onto left needle. There you go. So now 2 blue stitches ahead and 2 pink at the end. Then I will do purl 2 together. There you go. Put the needle straight in and then purl 2 together. I'm getting struggle because it's under the camera. So there you go, purl 2 together. And this time, knit 2 together. Make sure about the working yarn position, okay? I'll show you one more time. Again, because my purl stitch is already twisted, it's easy for me because I don't have to, twist the stitch. There you go. You knit until last 4 individual, which means 2 set of blue and pink combination. There we go. Now, you have to kind of, the switch the, stitches. So the purl wise, just grab the 3 stitch onto right and grab the pink one. The reason why I did, this because I don't want to lose any stitch. Okay, and drop the blue, but grab the blue stitch right back because I need that to do the purl 2 together. And I'm not twisting any stitch because it's already twisted. So there we go. And put the needle straight in and then purl 2 together. And then last 2 stitch with pink, knit 2 together. There you go. I'll show you probably one more time. I'm not sure. There you go. Until over there. And now I'll show you the back piece. It's a little bit tough to see, but that's the, stitch I just made the purl 2 together. Looks, right shift decreasing, and the pink one, right shift decreasing. Same time. So knit 2 together, make the, right shift, and same as the, blue yarn. So now I have to show you the regular purl, again, the way I make the purl, make the stitches twisted. So if you have regular way, not twisted, the purl, this is how you do it, okay? So slide knitwise, like twisted, okay? Slide, purl stitch, knitwise. So now you have twisted purl. Then slide pink one straight in, like a, purlwise, and then next blue stitch, slip knitwise. So now you have twisted purl stitch. You know what I'm saying? And then put those stitch back in, and then you can purl together. You know what I'm saying? Then purl two together regular way. The yarn front, and then put the needle straight in, and then you have to kind of, yeah, I'm struggle. I really cannot do continental regular way. And knit two together with purl, it's same. You don't have to twist anything, just a regular, knit two together. There we go. I'll show you one more time, but I need to, get ready because my purl is twisted, so I have to kind of change anyway. So looking good, right? Right shift, and this time get in right shift, right? Here comes, it's, I fixed it and it's not twisted purl anymore. So let's do that again. So this purl stitch, slide knitwise, so you twist the purl stitch and pick up the pink yarn like that, and then next blue stitch, same thing, slide knitwise, then now you have a twisted purl stitch, and put those two stitch back onto left needle, then purl two together. There you go. I'm not gonna do your way now. I'm gonna use my technique to, make a purl two together because I need twisted stitch. Anyway, so knit two together with purl. That's about it. And keep just knitting, right? Which is easier? Well, I guess it's really personal preference, I guess. I like of course, the way I like, because, that's the only way I can do pretty much. I'm really bad with the continental knitting anyway. So, this is what I do, right? When I make a purl, I'm gonna twist it anyway. And once you twist it, it's, easy from next row anyway, right? But um, either way, it doesn't really matter, To me, this way is the easiest way. So it's really up to you. And I want to show you one more thing. Probably a lot of people thinks, okay, what if, I just do the purl two together, ignore the twist stitch or not twist stitch. Yeah, you can actually do that. You don't have to twist. The important thing is whenever you decide, just keep doing same way. All right. So anyway, this is regular purl, not twisted. I already fixed it. So just pick 3 stitch, just like I did, right? And grab the pink stitch in the middle, then drop 1 blue, and there you go. Then purl 2 together. I didn't do any twisted, stitch or anything, right? I'm gonna do your way. There we go. That's it. And what's the difference? Is just the direction of decreasing. I was actually decreasing right shift with pink yarn and blue yarn. But now blue yarn is decreased left shift. So there we go. And Right now, it's really hard to see the back part because, I was actually decreasing right way and now left. So it's hard to say. But if I actually keep kneading same way, you will notice. Now it's kind of zigzag. So it's really hard to see. So again, you don't really need to, decrease both right way. You can, decrease right on the outside pink and left with inside blue. See, now it's a little zigzag, right? However, now that stitch is shifting left. That's the only difference. So if you don't like the, twist, the purl stitch, slide the, the purl stitch knitwise, stuff like that. If it's too much for you, just do the purl two together straight. Just grab the three stitch and blah blah blah, same as me, and just don't worry about it. But again, once you decide the way you decrease, just keep doing same thing. Otherwise, the stitch go kind of zigzag, zigzag, which doesn't look too good. And purl side, it doesn't really show too much anyway, inside fabric. So after this, row number 2, there's no decreasing. So just uh, knit as is, right? And repeat row number 1 and row number 2 until last 2 individual stitches in between markers. Okay, so row number 1, decrease. Row number 2, no decrease. Repeat row number 1 and row number 2 until last 2 individual stitch, which is last 1 set of pink and blue combination. That's about it. All right. Again, I want you to make sure to make plan ahead for the decreasing part so that you don't knit too long or too short. You really have to make sure how long you want before the decreasing, and how that's how you set it up for the cast on, right? That's, I guess, the one of the most important part to create this hat successful. All right. Anyway, so I decreased. Now I have only 2 individual stitch in between marker, which is 1 set of the blue and pink combination. Now I am going to cut the ends. There we go, tail ends, and then weave the both ends off. You can use one needle and then weave both yarn together, but I am going to weave the ends off individually. So I need 2 needle, one for the blue and one for the pink. And you probably know what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is pick up the blue stitch with blue needle and pick up the pink stitches with pink needle. That's about it. Again, you can actually use 2 threads together and weave the ends off. However, I am going to weave the separately. Okay, it's really up to you. It's your preference. I think this is a good, Christmas gift idea, and you can use 2 different color of the yarn, because sometimes you don't know them well, so you don't know which color they like. So, you can use completely different color and then, let them decide which color you want to, the wear it, right? So, you know, this is definitely a good idea. And I needed this about maybe 3 days with the filming. So, you probably need in 2 3 days, something like that. All right, and there we go. You know, uh, I'm actually weave the ends off on the pink side with pink yarn, and then same as the blue one. I already put the blue one into inside, so I can actually weave the ends off on inside blue side with the blue yarn. Okay, there you go. I trying to finish this hat. What do you think about this? The double side knitting without the tubular cast on. I hope it helps. If you never done the double side, this is actually a challenge for you as well. There we go. Look at this, beautiful decreasing, on top of the pink. And then the blue side, it doesn't really show much. Okay, guys, so this is it. You know, I really like this project. Easy enough and fast enough. So, thank you for watching. Enjoy knitting. Bye for now.